Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Kerwin and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Wrenchway. In this video, I talked to Garrick Weaver, who is the HR Director at Penn Power. In this video, we discuss onboarding and how technicians can get a good feel for what the onboarding process is like in a shop during the interview process to make sure they're set up for success when they start their new job. Enjoy. So Garrick, what questions should technicians be asking to make sure they're set up for success as a new employee in the shop?
Sure. So I think that the biggest challenge that we have from an employer perspective is the minute you accept a job, and then that first day, there's like a 2 to 3 week period in there where that's when we're doing the background check, the drug screens, we're setting up everything. And it can be kind of a scary time because you've given notice, you're waiting to start. You want to, on the onboarding is, you want to ask the recruiter or ask the HR person or ask the manager, when will I expect to hear from you next? And very, very important. And if you don't hear in that time frame, reach out. Don't be alarmed if they don't reach out as planned right away. If they say they're going to reach out to you in a week and it takes them a couple of days, don't worry about that because that can happen. But if they say they're going to reach out to you by Monday of next week, and if you haven't heard by Tuesday or Wednesday, go ahead and give them a call. You're not being a pain. You're not, you can start it out by saying, hey, I'm excited to be there, in 2 weeks. I just want to make sure that I have everything I need. I've done my offer letter. I did my drug test. I did my background screen. I've got the U-Haul rented to bring my toolbox. What do I need to bring on day one? That I think is very important. And then when you get there, again, don't be fully concerned if not everything's in line. Maybe your computer access isn't set up. They haven't set up the bay where you're going to work, things like that. Understand that it's the reason why you're being hired is because they needed somebody. And the other thing I would say is 2 things on your first day. Bring lunch, but also bring money, because you never know if they're going to, maybe they don't have time in the first day to do lunch with you. Number 2 is always bring money, because just in case they decide to pool money and do food, and they may provide food for you for the first day. But don't read into that too much, because again, if it's a smaller shop, they may not be used to doing that. In a larger shop, they may have more of a structure. And I think the other thing too is when you get there, the first couple of days from an onboarding perspective is go back to the manager and say, this is what I learned this week. I learned how to log into the computer system. I set up my equipment. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. What should I be expecting, or what do you need from me for next week? That way, do that like on the Thursday. That way the manager has a little bit of time on Friday so they can prep for something, for that next day or that next week.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice. I love just making sure they're set up and know the expectations and
Right.
making that very clear between management and the technician. It's so important. With all that being said, what questions can the technician ask before they're even hired in the interview process, just to make sure, they're set up for success? I mean, I can imagine they can ask, what are you going to expect from me the first week on the job?
Right.
Anything else that you think they should make sure to ask during the interview process?
I think it's very important to point out, what will my first week look like, and leave it at blank at that. And then I would, based upon what they say, well, what should I expect? And the term that a lot of people use is, drinking from a fire hose. It's going to be a lot of information. And statistics will tell you that if you remember in your first week, if you remember where and this is in an office setting, but where your desk was and where the bathroom is, and where the lunchroom is, you're good.
So true.
Don't have a little notebook in your toolbox that just, you write down things. And I have suggested to people, if there are 5 bays in the shop and there are 5 mechanics and you're really bad at names, literally write, do like a little drawing and put Kevin sits here, or Kevin's here, Bob's here, Fred's here, Larry's here, I'm here, so that everybody kind of knows where, you kind of get to know names. Name patches are a great thing on uniforms. And so I think that those are the kinds of things that you can do is what can you expect from me? You know, what should I expect from you? What does that first week look like? When should I bring in my toolbox? Because they may not want you bringing in the toolbox until you've done an inventory or something else. Again, if you're renting a truck or a trailer or you're having your buddies help you, you want to make sure that you're not putting your toolbox on and you're driving around with a 700-pound toolbox, you know, in the world where right now gas is $4 a gallon. So all those little things during the process. And again, if it's a smaller shop, don't have it a red flag if they say, well, we don't know, because especially if they're adding this position on, they're not replacing somebody that's a new position. They may be new to this and you could be kind of intimidating for the shop if you're asking a ton of questions, because your conversation at a large shop is very different than at a smaller shop.
That's true. Know your audience, know who you're talking to.
Yep.
So at Penn Power, just for example, what do you guys do to make sure that your technicians are set up for success from day one on?
Sure. So when they have accepted the offer, we go through the drug screen, we go through the background check, and then we try the manager of the branch, or what we call the service manager, will call the individual, typically either the day before, the work day before, or maybe a couple work days before, just to check in with that individual, let them know what time to be at the shop, who to ask for, what to wear, and then, you know, those are the kinds of things that we do. The other thing is we try to pair them up with people. Obviously, we walk them around, but we do try to pair them up a little bit with somebody just to, you know, show the computer systems, you know, how to enter work orders, things like that. And then if they're obviously more junior, we're going to spend more time with them around, you know, a true, I wouldn't say it's a true mentor program, but it's somebody like more of a buddy that they can go to on a more regular basis, as opposed to a more experienced technician might only need a buddy or somebody to help with computer systems, or how to order parts within our system. So we do kind of customize it, but we do make sure that we go through the basics, especially to uniforms and things like that, because we want to get those started as quickly as possible.
Yeah, that makes sense. Anything else to add for onboarding? Any tips for technicians? Anything at all?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to say that again, is just keep an open mind, write notes, ask questions, refer back to your notes, and, you know, just be flexible that first week, because the organization is trying to run the business while also trying to bring you aboard. They say, you know, the first couple of days when you get into a job are the ones where the butterflies are still there, and that's okay. But just to understand that it's going to take a little bit of time. Be flexible, be patient, and give them a chance. And if you're feeling any kind of, you know, funny feelings of something, bring it up to the manager. Say, hey, you know, I thought we were going to do this. Is there any kind of update? Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You know, we're going to do it this day or that day. Just have that open communication and be flexible.